The town of Ravensbrook had always been a quiet place, nestled between thick woods and sprawling fields. It was the kind of town where everyone knew everyone, and nothing much ever happened, until the summer when the animals started acting strange. It all began with Mrs. Caldwell's cat, Whiskers. Usually a lazy feline who napped in the sun, Whiskers suddenly became restless. At night, her eyes glowed unnaturally, and she would hiss at shadows that no one else could see. The townspeople shrugged it off as a strange phase, attributing it to heat or some odd illness. But then came the bigger animals, the dogs, the farm animals, and even the wildlife. They behaved erratically. Dogs barking incessantly at empty streets, cows mooing in the dead of night without cause, birds fluttering and squawking at the sky, their wings flapping wildly as if possessed. Rumors quickly spread, but most dismissed it as spooky stories to scare children. Emily Harper was 16 and always a bit skeptical. She loved her small town but prided herself on her rational mind. When her neighbor, Mr. Jensen, called her over one evening, her curiosity piqued. His dog, Max, had gone missing, only to be found in the backyard, trembling and staring blankly at the fence. His eyes were hollow and black. "Something's wrong, Mr. Jensen whispered, voice trembling. "I've never seen him like this. It's like he's not even himself." Emily frowned but calmed him. "Maybe he's scared or upset. He'll get better." That night, Emily couldn't sleep. Strange noises echoed around her house, mewling, scratching, and distant barking, feeding her unease. But she brushed it off, telling herself she was overworrying. The next morning, Emily decided to visit the woods. She'd heard strange whispers from the animals the previous night, and her curiosity overcame her fear. As she entered the woods, a sickly sweet smell filled the air. The trees seemed darker, the shadows longer than usual. Suddenly, she saw them. Animals gathered in a clearing, their eyes glowing a sinister shade of red. They moved in unison, almost like a swarm. In their midst was a strange structure made of sticks and bones, resembling a makeshift altar. Embossed into the ground were symbols Emily didn't recognize, but their sinister energy was undeniable. As she tiptoed closer, a chilling wind swept through, and the animals turned their heads, fixing her with red, glowing eyes. They were no longer animals. They were something else. A voice echoed in Emily's mind, deep and unearthly. "You should not have come. We are here because of their darkness. We are the remnants of lost spirits, awakened by the evil that festers in this place." Her blood ran cold. She wanted to run, but her limbs felt heavy, paralytic even. The animals surged forward, a mass of writhing fur and flesh that seemed to breathe with a life of its own. She saw Whiskers, her beloved pet, her eyes devoid of kindness, replaced with a sinister gleam. "Help me," Emily pleaded in a whisper, but her voice was drowned out by a chorus of growls and hisses. The creatures' mouths opened unnaturally wide, revealing rows of sharp teeth, as their bodies shimmered unnaturally, blending fur, feathers, and fur again into bizarre, hybrid forms. In that moment, visions flooded her mind, horrific scenes of animals possessed, their spirits twisted and trapped, serving some dark force. The animals weren't just possessed, they were vessels. And now, they aimed to extend their reach. Emily backed away desperately, her heart pounding, her mind racing. She remembered the old legend her grandmother told her about Ravensbrook's cursed woods, about a force that invaded animals and turned them into messengers of darkness. The legend warned that once animals were possessed, they were no longer themselves but pawns of an evil that thrived on fear. She turned and ran, breaking free from the hypnotic stare of the possessed animals. Her footsteps pounded the forest floor as she burst out into the open. Gasping for breath, she looked back. The clearing was silent now, the animals vanished into shadows or retreated into the depths. That night, Emily sat in her room, trembling. She knew whatever had happened in the woods wasn't over. She could still feel eyes watching her, red, glowing eyes from the shadows. It was only the beginning. The next morning, her father found her in tears, trembling. She told him everything, but he dismissed her fears. "Animals just act strange sometimes," he said gently. "It's probably just heat or some illness." But Emily knew better. The evil was real. And it had taken hold of Ravensbrook's animals, infecting everything with darkness. She tried to warn everyone, but few believed her. After all, wild animals going mad was one thing. Possessed animals was another. As the days went by, more animals displayed strange behaviors, morbid fascination with the shadows, outbursts of violence, their eyes glowing in the night. Emily realized she had to do something, soon, that whatever was awakening could not be allowed to spread beyond Ravensbrook. Her only hope was to find the source, the cursed altar, a relic of some long-forgotten evil, and destroy it. But she knew it wouldn't be easy. The darkness fed on fear, and the more she hesitated, the closer it crept into her own life. One stormy evening, armed with a lantern and trembling but determined, Emily ventured toward the woods once more. As she approached the clearing, the shadows bobbed and danced, and the air grew cold with a sickly chill. The possessed animals gathered again, waiting for her. They didn't attack immediately. Instead, their heads tilted with uncanny grace, and whispered voices emanated from their mouths. "Join us," they hissed. "The darkness is eternal. We shall never be free." Emily remembered the old symbols, and with a shaky voice, she recited an incantation she'd read in an ancient book her grandmother kept hidden. As she finished, the symbols flared with unnatural light, and the animals screeched, a cacophony of horror. In a blinding flash, the altar shattered, and the possessed animals dissolved into nothingness, wisps of smoke and shadow that vanished into the night. The woods grew eerily silent once again. But even after the darkness was banished, Emily knew the evil wasn't fully gone. The memories, the haunted eyes, would stay with her forever. The animals might have returned to normal, but she could often feel the lingering whisper in her mind, reminding her that some darkness never truly dies. And sometimes, when the wind was just right, she thought she saw glimpses of glowing eyes in the shadows, watching, waiting for the right moment to return.